The last time the sign flickered, it sputtered like a dying insect and burned one final band of pink into the dusk before surrendering to gray. The letters, our family name, had always hummed when I was a child. A soft electric lullaby that meant payroll was covered and Dad would come home late but smiling. Now a half of the neon was broken and the other half stuttered as if ashamed to glow over a place that had forgotten how to keep promises. I stood under it clutching a clipboard I no longer needed, while inside the voices rose. Creditors never shout at first, they clear their throats and soften their eyes as if compassion might be an acceptable currency. But when numbers don't add, softness calcifies. Mr. Palomo, who once slipped me a bag of oranges for working through lunch, no longer met my gaze. He was flanked by two men in suits, one of them tapping a pen against an invoice like a countdown. Across the desk, my brother lounged there as if the conference room were a lounge bar. Sleeves rolled up to show the watch he bought with money he hadn't earned. Dad sat between them, a general who'd chosen the wrong war and wouldn't admit it even with the battlefield on fire. "We gave you 60 days, the pen tapper said. "It's day 73. "I told you it was taken care of," Daniel said, flashing that famous grin that got him out of speeding tickets and into bad deals. "There was a wire. It must be delayed." My mouth opened before I could stop it. "There is no wire. We don't have the cash." Dad turned to me with a look I used to fear as a child. That chilly, disappointed squint that promised a lecture on loyalty. "No one asked you, Lena." My name clipped short like I was the interruption rather than the truth. I felt the old heat rise. Years of bookkeeping at the kitchen table, the spreadsheets I color-coded at midnight, the polite questions I asked at meetings that were waved off as unhelpful negativity. I had watched, helpless, as Daniel negotiated vendor relationships by insulting people whose names he never learned, as he blew bonus money on brand positioning parties with open bars and bad DJs, as Dad called it, vision, and Mom called it leadership, while I called it unpaid invoices in a neat stack. "I'm asking now," the pen tapper said. He turned to me. "Are there funds we haven't seen?" "No," I said, and the word was a cut rope. "There's a negative balance and a line of credit that's maxed because the last shipment from Tangier arrived and no one paid the duty. We owe 2 months of rent, and payroll is due Friday." Silence spread, thin and oily. Daniel cleared his throat. "She's always been dramatic." "She's always been correct," Mr. Palomo said quietly. For a second his eyes softened. Then he smoothed his tie and looked at Dad. "We'll need a plan by tomorrow. And a partial payment today. Or we begin collections." After they left, the conference room turned into a weather system. Dad's patience evaporated first. "What was that?" he said, rounding on me. "You do not contradict